take a stand, bringing the truth to a fucked up land. We've had enough of the lies and deceit. We're done for good with the toxicity. All hail Fangs, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail Fangs, we are the Rabyd Nation. All hail Fangs, we are the Rabyd Nation. We are the Rabyd Nation.
Alrighty, and a hearty shout out to all of you in the Rabyd Nation, whether you are a paid for citizen or just a tourist who has just subscribed, or whether you're just looking across the border, wondering whether or not to immigrate to such a wonderful nation as the Rabyd Nation. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Rabyd Atheist Show. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the stream. Tonight is a reaction to a video stream. I'm doing it a little bit differently. This is actually an old video, but I'm testing myself in certain ways because this is actually kind of a blind reaction. I think I remember watching this video a couple of years ago, but I've only listened to the first couple of questions. And I'm testing myself tonight to see if there are genuinely 8 questions that Christians and other theists have asked us that I cannot answer. Have I been doing this long enough that I can answer these things without actually hearing the questions ahead of time and looking anything up? Can I still do this? Can I do this? Have I been doing this long enough where I can do this and where the rest of us can do this? So here we go. But a few announcements before we get going. There's a goal in chat. If I reach that goal, I will wear whatever hat has been chosen by the poll for the rest of the stream. It's just my way of continuing to raise money for my continuous mission of normalizing atheism and deconversion and any other applications related to those issues. So there you go. There you go. Let's see. There's also a link to the Discord, the Fluffle of Fangs. Come join the Fluffle. Starting to become a pretty cool community, actually. I don't comment often, but I like listening in on all the stuff that's going on in your lives, and it's kind of cool. So if you're looking for a community where you can just kind of be yourself and talk about stuff and post pictures of your pets and all that stuff, I mean, we have turtles in the Fluffle of Fangs, so I'm kind of cool about that. I'm trying to figure out how to get that in there, but you know, there you go. There you go. I'm going to deal with something real quick here. Hold on. Because I've never had a conversation go anywhere with this particular person, so goodbye. So there we go. There we go. Let's see, any other announcements? There is a movie night is coming up on the Fluffle too, so you want to vote in the poll. I don't know if the poll's closed yet of which movie we're doing, so there you go. So yeah, that was it. Yes, yes. You want, it's this comment here, and I'm like, I have no idea where we're going with this. This isn't going to be a productive conversation. Muhammad has posted many times here before, and I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm not interested in those kind of conversations anymore on my channel. Like, if you're going to do something, yes, the Muslim interloper, yes. Please do something of substance that's actually related to what we're talking about tonight. All right, I think that's it for announcements. That's all. Tonight we're going to look at, this is an older video, about 3 years old. I seem to remember Professor Planck and maybe the Skeptic, I think, did some reaction to this video, but it's hard to remember that it was about a year ago. This video is fairly old, but it is so typical, I think, as I recall, of many of these questions that atheists can't answer. And he has 15 of them. I've only actually listened to the first 2, so I'm going into this a little blind. And as I said, I'm going to try to test myself to see if I can answer these questions with sight unseen, if I've been doing this long enough where it's just become rote. Like, I know what my response is going to be. So this ought to be fun, and that's what I'm doing it in the spirit of having a little fun. So let's get going. Let the fun begin.
So, what we
All right. I don't know if anybody remembers this guy. He doesn't do any graphics, so I'm gonna put me larger so you can see my reaction and all that jazz. So here we go. 15 questions atheists can't answer, and let's go. Let's just go.
so what we are talking about is the questions that an atheist cannot answer, and of course, these are very, very legitimate questions. So you have atheists, you have people who call themselves humanists. You have some people who basically are anti-godists.
Does anybody know anybody who like represents themselves as an anti-goddess? I'm like an anti-theist because I take the position that we'd be better off without religion. Um, I really do genuinely believe that. But I've never seen. Yeah. I'm the same thing. Oh, and you know what? I forgot. I forgot a roll call. So as he's listing off all the things that all of us are, let's do a roll call. Let's see. Pipe up. What kind of person is represented here today? And Evan was here earlier. So thank you, atheist 57547. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Allegedly, Fred is here. Allegedly, Fred is here. Sandals is here. Blossom. I mean, what kind of theists are? What kind of do you fit the anti-goddess label, guys? Any of you? I'm just asking for a friend. Felicia by nature is here. Felicia, good to see you. Guys got into a long conversation. I hope I'm not missing it. Elizabeth is here. That's good. Scuzzbopper is here. Good to see you, Scuzzbopper. Jackie is here. Michael is here. Dragon Rider is here. Rimmer is here. Good to see you, Rimmer. Evan's back. Okay. Yes. The Priest of Bun. Your official title now. The Priest of Bun Evan is here. Mike Hill is here. That's good to see Mike. I want to make sure I get everybody before I get going too far. Zip. Let's see. Uranium Santos. All right. Vesta Freya. Stormburn is here. Good to see you, Storm. All right. Believe there's a God, just okay. So you believe there's a God, but you hate him. So you're taking the who's the character? Riddick. You're taking the Riddick point of view. Like, I absolutely believe there is a God, and I hate the MFer. Okay, that's your position. I got it. Okay, there we go. So long as we're clear. All right, there we go. I don't want to miss anybody. All right, and I'll try to recognize everybody as they arrive. But here we go. So I don't know what an anti-goddess is. I'm not really anti-God unless it's the God of the Bible. He's kind of a dick. But other than that, yeah, Vin Diesel. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Riddick. The Chronicles of Riddick, I think it's the very first one where he makes that statement. I absolutely do believe in God, and I hate the MFer. Okay, so there you go. All right, so I don't know what these things are, but here we go.
They seem emphatic about revolting against the said God. So there are these.
I don't know how I revolt against a power that I don't believe actually exists, but okay. We'll keep going. We need to get into the
questions, and I'll be listing the questions so we see whether these people can answer them, and then pose these questions to these atheists anytime you talk to them to see if they do have answers to them. The first question is, what is the purpose of your existence?
What is the purpose of my existence? Oh boy. I think I think that behind this question is this idea is you can only have purpose or meaning to your existence if you believe in a God. So I'm kind of assuming that's where the conversation is going to go. But I would say that I can define my own purpose, that there's nothing wrong with defining your own purpose. And I have to concede that there may actually be no actual overall purpose to my existence, that I can just make meaning out of my life. And so I'm not sure I can. It's kind of a weird starting point. Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, like it's yeah, define purpose. Yeah, it depends. 42 for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. I'll give you a couple points. So there you go. Yeah, purpose is a post hoc rationalization. Like we look back at our life. Oh yeah, that was the purpose of my life. Like it really is. So we do have answers to this question. And I can answer the question. I'm just keeping score on this guy. Can I answer this question? The answer is yes. For me, I think my purpose is something I discover as I go along in life and make decisions. And I think this idea of needing an overall purpose from somebody else is just nonsense. But let's see what his answer is.
And that's the question people have asked for so long. And you have these seminars where people discuss and say, what's the purpose of our existence? So as long as you're here and you do not know the purpose of your being here, it basically makes your existence lack any value.
Okay, that's utter bullshit, dude. Whether something is valuable or not, value is a value judgment. Like let's get down to brass tacks. Like what something may have some value to others, and that depends. Like any basic class in economics will tell you that value is very relative. Like it is very, whether somebody's life was valuable or not, that depends on a lot of factors and a lot of judgment calls. So this is kind of a weird assertion to make about people not having their purpose, don't have any value. That's just kind of really weird. It's just a weird way to put it. Wrong. Okay. To defeat my enemies and hear the lamentation of my enemies and to make baby Jesus cry. Okay. Well spoken. I mean, I could say like I'm here to normalize atheism, deconversion. I could go what value that has to everybody depends on your persuasion on the issues of atheism and deconversion. So the idea of value is a very relative thing. Like if I'm sitting here in my apartment, the value of a bottle of water is like, yeah, okay, whatever. I live in Michigan. I'm surrounded by lakes and all that stuff. But if I'm suddenly transported into the Sahara Desert and there's a bottle of water in front of me, that becomes very, very important. Okay, so this idea of value greatly depends. It just really, I don't see the point of this. Like, so, and to say that I don't have value simply because I don't believe in a God, I think that's a very incorrect assessment. Like, so yeah. So I think if I think I know what my purpose is, I think that doesn't mean I do or don't know my purpose. If there is that, yeah, value depends on your position in the relational weapons. Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm looking at a person's value, that does very much depend on where I am in society, what I've contributed to society. A person who has no belief in God, who's made great contributions where everybody's life is better, has eased suffering, has, made our lives prosper a little bit more. That person very much can be considered valuable without a God. So it's like, I've never understood this necessity of having God in the picture to have value. So yeah, it's very entirely subjective. Correct. So that's kind of where it's at. So I don't know if he's going to say anything more before he gets to the next question.
So we would like to see whether people can answer that question. Now, from a religious point of view, the answer is pretty simple to that question. And the answer is, quoting what I was speaking with a a Jewish friend of mine some days ago, and he said, I did not create man but to worship me. Okay, so that's the answer to that from a religious point of view.
Okay. So the purpose of mankind overall, okay, is to worship God. That's a pretty big assertion, and I'm not really sure how that gives your life meaning and purpose, if that's what it is. Like, if your whole objective of your life is to basically enslave yourself to somebody else and worship them, that's kind of feeding into their narcissism. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm going to move on because that's just a boring point. Like, okay, whatever.
View that we are here to worship God, but we would like you to ask your atheist friends or people, atheist preachers, what's the purpose of their existence? The second
Whoa. What did he say? Atheist preachers? Do does anybody know any atheist preachers? I'm just very curious. Are there atheist preachers? Like, you think don't be a dick is better at most times is a better purpose? Yeah, I mean, honestly, but I've never heard of an atheist preacher. Like, there's an insinuation there. Yep, he said it, preachers, loud and clear. Oh, I mean, we can be preachy, I guess. It's the atheist preacher. Yeah, hell, we're an atheist preacher. TV show. And not only that, we need to make Fangs and Fangsology. The Church of Fangs needs to get on television so we can make some real money. I mean, Jesus. There we go. But yeah, God, I hate it when they say stuff like that because it's kind of like poisoning the well and all this other crap and misrepresenting, and it's propagandish, and it just drives me. Yes, atheist television. That's what I'm saying. We can do Fangs televangelism. I can honestly pull that off. I think I could probably do that. But yeah, atheist preachers. Okay, there we go.
question is, if we can get away with it, why should we not kill fellow men? And this is a bit.
If we can get away with it, why shouldn't I kill my fellow men? Because I don't want to. I'm sorry. I've always considered this question a little bit stupid. Because they always precede it with if you can get away with it, which automatically assumes if I can't automatically get away with it, I would have some sort of societal reason not to engage in killing. So they want to put it in the context of a hypothetical. You can't get away. If you can get away with killing, why shouldn't I kill somebody? Because I don't draw any pleasure from killing anybody. Like, yeah, I don't want to kill anybody. Like, why is this so hard to understand? Why is the assumption always, I got to be watched constantly in order to be moral? I would submit to you, if you're only doing morality because you're fearing punishment, or you're wanting some reward from a god, or you feel like I'm not going to get away with it, so I got to be constantly watched, I don't think you're very moral. To me, the moral person is the person that does the right thing without feeling like they're being watched and without any kind of understanding of morality. I think there was a Jewish rabbi that was asked, why are there atheists? And he says, because we need people around to show us that you can be moral without a belief in God or fear of punishment. Like I can't remember what his name was, but it's like this absolute idea of if I could get away with it is a completely hypothetical. Like, it's like, I mean, guess there's, and so far, not so. We're into question 2, Robert. So, and the question was, if you could get away with it, why wouldn't you just kill somebody? And and my answer is, I don't want to. I just don't want to. So far, what's your purpose if you don't have a God? So, yeah, there are people that do get away with it. It's called serial killers, and some of them, like they do stalk people. So it's like, I mean, there are people that do that. But for me, personally, if you're going to ask me that question, I don't want to kill anybody. Like, Yeah, if you bad say you got kicked out and stuck all alone in wild animals. Yeah, so it's like that. I think the real problem I have with this question is the beginning part of if you could get away with it. There are people that do indeed get away with it. Okay. And so they do kill people, but there are other people that could get away with it that don't. And they don't feel that I don't, I think the best answer to this question from my own personal point of view is like, since I've become an atheist, I've killed all the people I've wanted to kill, which is zero. Like, it's like, I don't have that desire. Maybe, human empathy for most of us has reached a point where we just don't want to kill people. Like, I don't want to be killed. And taking it out of the cultural, social context is just kind of a dishonest move for the question, if you ask me. So, like, I don't want to. I don't think it's beneficial to me. Like, I don't know if people realize that, but when you kill somebody, there's a trauma that you experience from killing somebody, from taking somebody else's life. And I don't want that trauma. Like, I just don't. I think that's worse than any problem I could ever think of. Like, self-defense is one thing, but I just don't, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Yeah. And serial killers do get caught. So like a lot of them get caught. So, as the bodies pile up, it gets more and more evidence and people start to pick you up. So honestly, dude, horrible question because I think you're proceeding from a false premise, but I don't think it's very moral to think the only reason you're not killing somebody is somebody's watching you and you wouldn't get away with it. Like that's, you haven't really thought about the deeper moral question of why I shouldn't kill somebody, period, without anything there. So, all right, moving along.
It's a question on morality. People think morality, humanists think morality, men can determine morality. But the question is,
it's not that we think we can, we know that that's what happens. Like morality is a social question. You can't really you put yourself alone on a desert island. How many moral issues are you going to deal with? Like, unless you're dealing with yourself, like morality is all about interaction of human beings. It's all about being a social species. It's not that we think this, we know that this is how morality works. Okay, just by studying it and looking at how people react to each other, you can understand morality very, very well. It makes a lot of sense that morality is very necessary for any social species, not just humans. So yeah. I mean, if you're alone on a desert island, what moral questions do you have? Like, there's very few. Like maybe a suicide question that's like might be there, or some other question, but I don't see. Yeah, like the same is true for rights. Like it's like it's this moral question comes up from theists all the time, and my issue with it is always like you're assuming that morality, if God wasn't here, we wouldn't have morality. We'd have to have some sort of moral code just to get along with each other. It's always a social issue for the most part, or largely a social issue. Like it's how do I, some person does X to me, how do I react? Like what's the most moral way to react? Like this is everything. So I mean that might be a good question. But it's you engage a lot of moral questions simply because like the vast majority of moral questions we engage in is because we have interaction with fellow human beings. And so that's what it has to. So, that's where we're at. Thanks, Fred. Morality is individual based solely on each person's life. And there is a good case to be made for that too, Fred. Like there is, but there's also the interaction we have with other human beings. Like if I have a moral code that doesn't align with somebody else's moral code, we're going to have a discussion about what we're going to do. And so this notion that somehow if I could get away with it, there wouldn't be moral questions. So so there you go. I mean, I have never understood the moral argument. The more I listen to it, the less sense it makes to me, because theists don't consider the necessity of morality in relationship to human beings just getting along with each other, like just having societies that actually function and don't fall apart. Okay, without morality, you don't have functioning societies, and people have had functioning societies regardless of belief in God or not. So it's like, yeah. So yeah. So yeah, it kind of really does require more than one person. So yeah, like there is definitely that question. But the theist here is completely wrong because he's made a couple of assumptions and he hasn't bothered to prove them. So there we go.
If not for said lay down principles that come from the religious perspective, when you look
Those principles don't necessarily come from a religious. Which ones do you want to talk about? The ones thou shalt not kill, or it's okay to sell your daughter into sex slavery to pay off a debt? Because that one's in the Bible, bro. Okay, so which moral question are we talking about here? Like set down by which religion? Which one? Like how many religions do we have? How many gods do we have now? Like which one is the thing? I think that might want to be firmly established before we start having any other discussion on morality.
look at things from an evolutionary point of view, why not kill the next man if you are not going
Because we're a social species and that killing the next man isn't necessarily benefit me. I'd rather cooperate with the next man. Like if I go back to tribal days, which is easier to do a hunt with, me by myself or me with the tribe? Me with the tribe. So I don't kill the man next to me because he's valuable to me and my survival. Like you're failing to completely understand that social species cooperate together for increased survival. It's not to our advantage to kill people off just because, like, oh man, but yeah, like, but like, come on, like, the answer to your question is really obvious.
to be caught to survive, to get some money, to get something. If you're not going to get
Once again, I'd rather cooperate with said individuals, set up a business. That way we can make more money long term. Like, this notion that somehow killing somebody else or stealing from somebody else is automatically beneficial to me as a human being that's not really thinking the issue through. So I have no idea. I Rimmer, honestly, I'm ready to turn it back on his head. So Joy said, hey, good to see you, Joy. Moron is worse. Haven't they read the Bible? As Harris said, the Bible is a horror show of genocide, slavery, and child sacrifice, and you rape it, you buy it. Yes. Yeah, like it's bad. And so they always got in their moral high horse here where, from your worldview point of view, all this stuff would be to advantage, and completely blissfully ignore that their God, supposedly in the commandments, has also told them to do all this stuff. So yeah. Yeah, he can't answer, but he thinks he has answer to, yes.
caught, what's the reason why you will not do it if there's not an all-seeing body and an all-seeing person who you...
Once again, if you have to have somebody watching you to be moral, you're not very moral.
will report to. Now, I would like atheists to explain what brings about this morality. If you're not going to get caught.
Actually, Evolutionary Morality has several books. Just go to Amazon and look it up and how morality evolved through evolutionary processes, and you'll probably get a list of books that you can read on the subject.
For adultery, or you're not going to get caught for something, why not do it? But from a religious point of view, the answer to that is quite simple, because you have this all-seeing, omnipotent, omnipresent being that...
A completely illogically inconsistent God? Okay, fair enough.
You'll report. The third question is, why should man conserve the environment? And this was a question I posed to a...
Okay, why should the man conserve on the environment? Because if he doesn't, he kills himself? Like, if we completely fuck up the earth, we're going to die. You can't survive, you can't thrive if your environment has completely become antithetical to life, your own human life. Like, this seems like such a basic answer to me. Like, this is not very hard to figure out. If the environment exactly, Starbird, because we live here. We live in it, dumbass. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's got to be one of the dumbest questions. Also, this isn't a question to atheists. Like, what does this have to do with my non-belief in God? I could ask this question to anybody. Like, why should we preserve our environment? We live here. Like, we freaking live here. Okay. Just for example, I was listening to a video about the Pacific Rim last night. Don't ask why. I just listen to weird things when I'm at work because I'm trying to learn stuff. And just for context here, there is an island in the Pacific that the United States used for nuclear testing. Okay. And then because we wanted more shits and giggles, we decided to do chemical testing there as well. And here's the funny part. There's still something alive on that goddamn island. You know what it is? Ants. Those bastards are going to be around long after we're gone. And so it's as resilient as we can be. There are certain things, if we screw things up enough, we will not be able to live. Yeah, the Bikini Atoll. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, the current state of that little island is, because of what we did, is still completely screwball. The weird thing is there's a species of ants that is very invasive that's managed to survive there. I'm telling you, the insects are going to be here long after we're gone. So that's where I keep all my stuff. Like, I mean, from their perspective, that's true, Stormont. If you're just on your way to paradise and heaven, you don't have any reason to care about planet. This planet's being replaced. If you're like a new heaven, new earth kind of eschatology, why should you care about the environment? Because if you're really saying it's just a temporary stops. So the possums will rule the world, crabs, ants, and cockroaches. But like, I was listening to this documentary, and like, why doesn't anybody live in the Pacific, like on all these islands? They're like tropical paradise. Why doesn't anybody live there? And it's like, because it's not exactly perfect. Paradise has a problem, and we've kind of fucked it up. Like, there's parts of it that we've kind of screwed up, and now we can't live there. The ants can live there, but we can't. So, yes, ants rule. They're going to take over. I don't know if they're that big. The guy was talking about a fire ant. Like, it spews this thing that catches on fire. Like, these things are real. And on some islands in the Pacific, it's a real problem. On the Bikini Atoll, they're the only ones there. So, so along with a few other bugs. Hey, Jimmy, good to see you, Jimmy. But yeah, like, that's a simple answer to that question. Why should we care about the environment? We live here. Like, our survival and well-being depends on planet Earth, and planet Earth isn't as strong as we think it is. Giant fire ants, yes. So there you go. But yeah. So, gosh, see, I'm doing this blind at this point. I don't know what the next question is because I don't remember. But that one,
A professor from New York State University, from New York University, actually, NYU, during her dissertation presentation, and I asked her, I say, why conserve the environment? Nature, there have been, meteorites or asteroids have struck the Earth, and due to these processes, according to evolution, these are the reasons why we are here, because of catastrophic events. So all of a sudden, why is it our responsibility to starve ourselves of things we can do? We can make nuclear bombs, we can drop them, we can burn things, we can, cause global warming. At what point and for what reason and with what justification is man suddenly in charge of preserving the environment?
Okay, that's a little bit more complicated question. Like, we're the only ones that seem to understand the moral responsibility of doing so. It's our survival too. Like, yeah, we like to keep living. He didn't really. I don't think he really thought about this one. No, because honestly, I think the answer is obvious. I live here. I don't want to drink toxic sludge. I don't want to, wake up one morning, go to my refrigerator and realize there's no food coming because the environment's so screwball. Like, I think all of us want to survive and keep on living for as long as we can, or at least most of us. And so I don't, yeah, like we're so far as I understand it, we're the only ones capable of understanding how to keep the environment balanced, and our actions can unbalance the natural. Yes, we understand this. We have reached a moral point where we understand that our actions aren't done in a vacuum. Like, as much as I think I'm doing this and I'm not harming myself, the truth of the matter is I may have an unintended consequence. And then when somebody points that out, yeah, I should do something about that. Like, this one, I don't think he thought about very much. Honestly, I'm kind of with Michael. I think like he didn't really think about this point. So, because like I live here, I got, we understand it. We are capable of understanding it. I'm not sure the ants give a shit. Okay. Okay. The reason the ants don't give a shit is they seem to survive no matter what the hell happens. And they don't have a concept of individual value. Like, if you watch an ant colony, you'll have 100 ants sacrifice themselves for the queen. I mean, come on. And even the queen at certain points will sacrifice for herself for her hive. So it's like, it's, depending on your mentality, these guys are going to be surviving long after we're gone. And then there's other species, we've had lots of species come and go, it's like, but yeah, yeah, they keep going. Yeah. Yeah. And other people, yeah, many other ones just don't give a shit, or they are incapable of understanding their environmental consequences. So it's like, but human beings are. And because we are, yeah, I think we should willingly take up that moral responsibility and try not to fuck up things worse and maybe make things better. So I don't think he thought about this question very much.
Let things happen let the chips fall as they may.
No, I don't
Let
have to do
man be
that.
wiped out. This is the question I posed to her.
But isn't that kind of what you people in the theist land want? Aren't you trying to like rush the apocalypse so you can go all be with Jesus or Muhammad or Allah or whatever? Like, those of you that have this apocalyptic view, and that's pretty much most of the monotheistic religions, like, isn't this what you're doing? Isn't this where you're heading? Yeah, I don't get it.
I said probably nature has it planned to make a more special species than man.
I don't know that nature has a plan to make a better. That's not how evolution works. So poor, poor, poor reasoning there. Like, nature doesn't just do that.
So the idea that man is the ultimate being and we need to preserve the environment for man, it's only due to religion that you believe man is the ultimate species. But if nature does it, then it's in our natural ability to destroy. And some people can fight to save, and some of us can fight to destroy. And eventually, if we destroy the environment, nature is going to replace us with a better species that can stay in the hot environment. So why do people,
Yes, yeah, I was noticing that too. Like, I saw that point. Ultimate being is a weird idea. Like, so that, but actually, some Christians believe there'll be a new heaven and new earth. In fact, that's what the book of Revelation brings that in. And so a lot of Christians just like they don't want to hear that, but there it goes. So yeah, there is no ultimate species. And that's kind of a human exceptionalism viewpoint. And so he's kind of twisting his own view of human exceptionalism into what evolution would say. And that's why he has a very poor understanding of it. So it's like, evolution doesn't have a master plan. Okay. And that's, yeah.
atheists believe in conserving the environment? I believe they should not. So that's another question. The next question is, what is the singularity from which the galaxies were formed?
I'm not qualified to answer that question because I'm not an astrophysicist. However, those that are qualified can talk about how the singularity is a single point, at the beginning, everything is in a hot, dense space, that kind of thing. I don't understand. This kind of brings up one of my beefs with these questions for atheists is that they go after atheists. Like, why don't you have the balls to go ask an astrophysicist this? Why are you asking atheists this? Like, why are you coming at me who's not an astrophysicist, why don't you go to the people that actually know something and ask them? Why don't you get on the internet? What is the singularity? You could actually literally pose that in AI now and get an answer. Now, maybe back then it was just Google, but still, you can get an answer to this question without having to come at an atheist and answer it. Why do I have to have the answer to all these questions to be an atheist? Okay, like it's just, I've never understood this tactic. Like, go to the people that know, research the people that know, buy a book about it and read about it. Like, like, come on. Yeah, like it's enough. It's at a point where you get to that point. It's like we don't have we're shrugging our shoulders at that point is basically what we're saying. It's like we don't know. And damn, if these people can't accept that. So yeah, why do I as an atheist need to be an expert in everything when an apologist has demonstrated any knowledge of the subject themselves? Like, go study it yourself and then pose a better question. That's my beef with this question. It's like, damn it. There are these things called astrophysicists that study this shit. They've written books on it. They posted articles online on it. Go to them. Okay, go to them. Okay, I don't need to be an expert in everything to be an atheist. I just come to the conclusion that you've given me all these evidence. I've come to the verdict. Okay, you've made your claim there is a God. You've given me all this evidence that you think proves there a God. I look at all the evidence. I see the flaws in it, how it's bad evidence, how it's not evidence at all. And I say, I'm sorry, my verdict is there. I still don't believe there's a God because you haven't given me sufficient evidence. So it's like, damn it. So Jim Bog debates he wants the atheist to explain the mechanism of the origin of the universe, but he gets to say God did it. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. But yeah, I honestly, Scott, and welcome, Scott, but it's like, it really is like this. Like, this is what happens. So,
because according to the evolutionary theory, you had this dense.
Okay. The singularity has nothing to do with evolutionary theory. Once again, I really also hate it when theists do this. They Big Bang cosmology, evolutionary theory, abiogenesis, they kind of throw in all one basket and use whatever term is convenient. Please be more precise.
Singularity that exploded and expanded into the world and continues to expand into all the galaxies. So, but the question is, what's that singularity? Because if you do not know, because we still, in essence, are that singularity. We are one.
We are essence, that singularity. That doesn't even make any sense. And I don't know of anybody that claims that outside of what I've never heard that before until I just heard you say it.
Yeah, that one singularity. Because matter can never be created nor destroyed. But the question is, what is that singularity? If you don't know, that means you don't know what you are.
I can know what I am without understanding this singularity. Okay. That's very, very confusing. So
the next question is, how did that dense singularity at the beginning of the Big Bang come into existence?
Answer, we don't know. And I'm okay with that answer. I get really tired of this because the obvious, like, if we say we don't know, they just jump to God of the gaps. And yeah, he's definitely trying to conflate many ideas, and he made a star stuff argument. Yeah, it's like, Felicia, oh my God, like, this is so bad right now. I'm glad I did this blind, because if I knew the stupid I was walking into, I'd be asking myself the question of, why am I doing this again to myself? So, but yes, like, yeah, I'm Fred, you make about we're the result. I don't necessarily need to know where the singularity comes from to have any sense of meaning for my own life. There's a lot of bullshit here that's just being put together.
How did it come about? So basically, you've not answered the fundamental question. Where did you?
Why do I have to answer that fundamental question? Like, and what makes it a fundamental question for my current state of existence? It doesn't really do that. Okay, like, whether the singularity is the theory that ends up holding up or whatever, and I'm sorry, I don't know is a proper answer if you really don't know, but I don't need to know that answer to that question to be an atheist. Okay. The reason I'm an atheist is as I considered the evidence over the years presented for the existence of God, I think most of it's either fallacious or not actual evidence for the existence of a God. So yes. So
Come from, whether that singularity that continues, that we are, where did it come from? There has to be a beginning of it. Now, some people come in and
not necessarily have to be a beginning of it. Sorry, that's just not necessarily true. Um, I know this is hard for us to believe it, but reality may just have always existed. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around, but I don't need, once again, I don't need to answer this question. I can answer this question, which I just say I don't know. That's not my field. Okay. So, you're not but neither of you do. He's only given a noun to the question. He never explains or demonstrates how. The fundamental is left unanswered. Yes. Yeah, because just saying God did it isn't an answer. You haven't demonstrated that. So we don't know how the universe began. Science are trying to figure that out. I don't know is a reasonable answer to the question. Yes. Thanks, Dragon Rider. Put it very well.
try to say that, but then you try to explain God, like how does, if God, like the religionist says God created us, that singularity, but then they say, but how do you explain?
That's an assertion that you would need to prove as well. Like, yeah, like how does he know there's a beginning? Like he doesn't know that either. So, and God isn't a really good question. Which one? Which creator God are we throwing into that one?
God, but these are people who don't understand the basic concept. You see, time, okay, a beginning deals with time and space. And time and space, so the question is, how did you create God, or how did God come about into being? Time and space, that's the creation, is with time and with space. Came into being with that singularity. So you cannot ask the question before the singularity, before that particle, that first particle. You can't ask the question of how did God come into being, because time limited coming into being comes about, and space all manifested from the expansion of that singularity. But when you go back behind that singularity, there's no time, there's no space, so there's no question.
Yeah, and your point is, I mean, I get what he's trying to say. I guess, like before the singularity, what was there? I'm sorry, it's still I don't know. We don't know, but you don't get to just rush God in there as an answer without some sort of proof yourself. You're not answering the question yourself. And so I'm not really sure what you're trying to prove. So, yeah, it was a bit of a word soup. Yeah. I don't think he understands the fun. Yeah, I think you're right there. I don't think he understands the fundamentals of his own argument very well.
Of how or when did God come into being, because that's before the time and space that we are using within.
But now you're okay. So now you're cloaking the origin of God behind outside of time and space because he's before the singularity. Well, that's an assertion without evidence. Like you're openly admitting that we don't know, but you're going to say that there is something we know. We know where did the singularity, and you're assuming that God is the one who put the singularity in place. Well, you don't have any proof of that either. So I don't know. Why is he being so defensive about it? Yeah, it is weird, but they do get this way when they talk about this stuff. They get very defensive about God.
This our earthly conversation, so that the question lacks logic. There's no question.
Actually, your explanation lacked a lot of logic, but I'm not going to get too deep in it. I only have so long to stream this evening.
About that, the time factor when it comes to God. Okay, so anyway, these are the questions that we do. We could have a further discussion on this on some other tape, but these are just the questions for you to ask the atheist to answer. The next question is, can something come into existence out of nothing? If not, how do you explain the last two questions?
Okay, so first of all, I really hate this question for one specific reason. It's the theist who has to make the claim that something came out of nothing. If you look at Genesis 1 and you believe Genesis 1, the statement God said, "Let there be light," and it was so, there was light, is a magical statement where something comes out of nothing. And God does this throughout. Now, you can argue maybe God came on to an already pre-existent planet. But once again, I don't know too many people. Like, this is once again, we're going after a universe from nothing. And it's just, I'm tired of doing this. Like, people didn't read the book. They didn't read Krauss's book, because at the end, Krauss concludes that nothing isn't nothing. Okay. Like, the scientist doesn't view nothing the way a theist does. But I'm going to say it again. You, as a theist, have to believe that something came from nothing if you believe God waves his hands and says words and suddenly things appear. Okay, that's belief of something out of nothing. So criticizing me, even if I did believe something came from nothing, which I don't, and I don't think that backs it. So you're the one that has to believe, yes, Felicia pointed, you're the one that has to believe in creation ex nihilo at some point in the Genesis story. Like, you have to believe that somehow God came along and by his power created order out of chaos, or created something out of nothing. Creation ex nihilo is a theological position that many Christians and other people, believers in monotheistic gods, hold. I know, because I studied this shit. Okay. And we were talking about how back in the day, in the 90s, you know what apologists were trying to defend? They were trying to defend how we believe that something came out of nothing. So this suddenly flip-flop switch to me in 2 decades is just really bothering the hell out of me, because I'm not the one that believes something came out of nothing. I don't believe nothing is nothing. Okay. So it's just, yeah, it's still, even if you have the vacuum of space, it still has an effect on space-time. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. But, like, you still are stuck with your book. Okay. Like, if you take some of the miracles of Jesus, or Jesus is God, all of a sudden, somebody who's born without eyes, probably in the case of the man born blind, God, Jesus puts clay and mixed with his own spit on the guy's eyes, and suddenly he has eyes. Like, you have to believe that somehow when Jesus does his miracles, that something happens that got created to fix the problem. Like the feeding of the 5,000. Like, you got a few bread, loaves, and fishes. Where'd the rest of it? Well, it got created out of nothing. Like, there's no, in the miracle stories all the way through the Bible, something gets created out of nothing. That's not me believing that. That's you. Okay, that's your magical beliefs. That's a belief in magic. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's just,
And it's the same thing that, from the religious perspective, we say, okay, God created that singularity, created something
Yes, he created something out of nothing.
out of nothing. But for the person who doesn't believe in God, then who created that singularity, or how did that singularity come about?
I don't need somebody to create it.
Question number 7 is, categorically prove your existence beyond being in a dream.
Oh, are we really going to go here? I didn't realize this question was in here, because, like I said, I'm doing this blind, but are we really going here? Like, even if it is a dream, or I'm a jar in a vat, it's still the reality that I have. And so I'm going to try to live the best I can in it. I really don't understand the nature of this question. Like, solipsism is just flipping the table. So that's kind of what I'm going to answer with this one. I'm going to let him talk about it. But to me, the solipsism argument is old and tired. Even if I am just a vat in a jar, it's the reality I have to deal with. And so, yes. So, like, literally answers this. Relational web of interactions causes agents ensures we're in a reality. Yeah, like, there's a causal thing. So, but yeah, I don't know.
The only test I know so far to prove that you're not in a dream is to pinch yourself. And that's a stupid test. Of course, pinching yourself doesn't prove anything. So why bother? And this deals with the whole concept of materialism. We struggle to buy that BMW. You struggle to achieve things. You even want to eat food. Would you do those in your dream? So before you can define or
So honestly, if it is a dream and I'm a brain in a vat, at least going after that sort of thing gives me something to do while I'm passing the time. Um, I, Solipsism it's a horrible argument. And so, yeah, I'm struggling to have a response, Felicia. It hurts my head.
say that, okay, this is important, this is relevant. Prove yourself, your existence. Prove material existence. Prove your existence.
I don't think I have to prove my existence to kind of assume it. It's what I've got to work with. Like, even if I bought some of the solipsism arguments, it's like it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking about it. So, I mean, honestly, I can see why people living in a vat would indeed, Fred, invent gods. Like, it would give them something to do. Can I prove material existence by throwing hands? I don't know.
Out of being in a dream, because if not, you're really at loss. If you're doing all this and you're just in a long, prolonged, as it may, dream. Question number 8 is: can you scientifically discuss parthenogenesis, which is certain organisms birthing, virgin births, pretty much? There's a lot.
Really? What? Can I explain miracles? Is that what we're getting at here? Like, dude, you need to prove that a miracle happened. If we go back to your previous question in solipsism, then miracles are just shit that happens while I'm in the jar. Like, yeah, I think he does have a very bad definition of materialism. So, yeah. Like miracles become a very important dream. Yes. So there you go. Can you scientifically discuss? No, I can't. I'm a software engineer and not a goddamn medical doctor. Oh, but you explain quantum computing.
A lot of people, argue about these religious concepts, which are across most religions, of virgin births. And parthenogenesis exists mainly in invertebrates. In certain conditions, they can. And there's this link about a virgin birth of a mammal that actually rewrote history of biology, where they actually brought about virgin birth. So virgin birth is not that big of a deal. But if science...
It is if a species normally doesn't do it that way. Like, there are species that don't require sexual reproduction. You do realize that, right? Like, and what does that mean by virgin birth? Like, the whole concept of virginity is all about getting boinked, isn't it? Really? Like, so the idea of people giving birth without having boinked, I think, has been scientifically studied, but it's rare as hell. Like, virgin birth is a big deal if your entire theology hinges on it, dude. Why do you keep defeating your own theology? Like, if the virgin birth isn't a big deal, then okay, so Jesus being born of a virgin is significant. How then? Like, I'll throw my theology stuff in there because I have a theology degree, but it's like, dude, you just undercut the virgin birth with that statement and thus undercut the divinity of Jesus. Do you realize you did that? So there you go.
People who doubt God believe in parthenogenesis. Then the question is, how do they reconcile that? The fact that virgins can.
Because it's a biologically studied phenomena and we actually have explanations of how that works. I've answered that question.
Made to give birth.
By the way, I'm at the point where I'm not counting all the questions that I can't answer. I'm just waiting for a question that I can't answer. I have a 0 on that so far. And some of my answers are, I don't know, and it's irrelevant to the discussion of whether God exists. But yes, I've managed to answer all of these. I'm waiting for the count of the question that I haven't been able to actually answer. And the fact that I'm doing this like blind and Like I haven't heard the questions. Like I didn't watch this video except for the first 2 questions. So, and I'm doing pretty well on it so far. Kind of indicates how far I've come as a counter apologist YouTuber. Yeah, he's very frustrating to Lex Catholic. Birth ex no boinka is the official doctrine, right? Thanks, BS. Yes, that's exactly what it is, BS. Good to see you, BS. Oh my goodness.
including mammals. And then deny virgin births as this big thing. And that also goes along with all these.
Well, I deny the virgin birth as presented in the Bible as being something that happened. Okay, my official doctrinal position in the Church of Fangs is that Fangs accidentally impregnated Marilyn Monroe back in the 60s. And so he took the young embryo and was drunk at the time, got really drunk, plastered, grabbed that embryo, pretended to be the Archangel Gabriel, and put it in Mary. And I have exactly the same amount of proof that for that story as you do for the story in the Bible. So mine's just equally as valid as far as proof level. So I'm sorry, the virgin birth is very significant in theology if you're going to try to prove who Jesus is. And by saying it's like not a big deal, like what the hell? I can answer this question though, that the idea of not having sex and still reproducing is, there's some species that's what they do, and other mammalian species it does happen, but it's a documented phenomenon and it has been studied. So go read the studies. They'll have a better explanation than I will. So like Mary got assaulted by a Roman guard and had to conceive a virgin birth story to face Jewish elders to stop her being declared damaged goods and stoned to death. Yes. So yes, like what's more likely, that God intervene on Mary's behalf, or Mary, who's the only one who witnessed the angel Gabriel coming to her? only one, and tells the story. Which one's more likely, that she got boinked and got pregnant and had to come up with a story to cover her pregnancy, or that God actually impregnated her? Like, which one's more likely? Like, I know a whole shit ton of young girls who face societal persecution for getting pregnant out of wedlock would come up with a story, and have come up with a story. And it's a very likely scenario. So yes. So there you go.
Sort of miracles, which many of them are scientific, like Adam and Eve being made from a rib of Adam. And when you look at it, that's just cloning. So if you understand cloning,
it's not cloning, dude. That's not the way cloning works.
they're trying to avoid hybrid sterility. If making species incompatible, so the best way to make a species is out of a piece of the other. So you have Adam and you take his rib, and that's you get stem cells in the rib, which actually just goes along with cloning. And then you can't clone a man out of a woman, but you can clone a woman out of a man, because a woman just has 2 X's, so all you need to do is double the X. So basically, when you talk about stuff like that, a lot of
holy shit, did he just show that he doesn't know how cloning works? And I don't know much about cloning, but I know that's freaking wrong. Yeah, Ghost knocked me up in the 1st century is equivalent to my dog ate my homework. Yes, it is. So there you go. But yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen. It's very possible that a ghost did knock you up, but highly unlikely.
Religious stories
Oh my God.
have simple scientific explanations, which, depending on
No,
the
they
time.
don't. No, they don't. If they have simple scientific explanations, they're not miracles anymore. Like, the whole point of it's a miracle. I don't know how it works either, but I think I know better. Adam is rib. Joke, maybe. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Felicia. I honestly hadn't watched this through. I've been doing counter apologetics for a long time. And I said, wouldn't it would be fun tonight? Let's have Ed test himself let's pull this 15 questions atheists can't answer video that I've never done a reaction to before. Let's see if I can do this with my eyes closed without having listened to it. But yeah, this guy's starting to hurt my head. I don't know how far we'll get. We'll see.
Frame. Sometime you're thinking about a rib being broken and cracked. But it's just cloning. The word is just cloning. God cloned Eve out of Adam's rib, and it's as simple as that. Some of these things could simply be explained in ways scientists and students of science can't understand.
Then it's not a miracle, and it doesn't prove godhood. Sorry, like if it's just simple scientific, that kind of leads into the naturalist, doesn't it? Like if it can be explained that way, then I don't need a God to do it, right?
So question number 9 is, do you agree that evolutionary principles prove religion? And that's the simple thing, because evolution says that human traits, including memory, religion, the test of evolution.
Evolution doesn't work that way to prove things are true. The evolutionary theory isn't designed around that idea. Okay, just because there might be an evolutionary reason for religion doesn't prove the truth of religious claims. It just proves that religion might be an evolutionary holdover from something, okay, or an unintended consequence of other developments of evolutionary thought. Like it doesn't prove, like if that proves religious claims are true, then all religious claims are true. And that's just contradictory. That just can't happen. So yeah. I was looking for the proper response to this. Here's the thing, Felicia. Whenever, I want to move on. I really want to focus more on not so much on deconstruction, but reconstruction, that part of deconversion and normalizing it. But the problem is there's still guys out there like this posting this stuff and people believe them. Okay, like they still do this crap, and it's amazing to me. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean it's flawed. Like I do remember that several atheists have dealt with the idea of religion being like it develops evolutionarily. Like there's no denying of that. But if I accept that premise, then every religion has a valid reason for existing and has some sort of truth to its claims. And so you can't claim exclusively to a certain religion then, because if all religion is coming out of this evolutionary development, then all religion is equally valid for that reason. And so the idea of Jesus is the only way to eternal life kind of goes out the damn window, doesn't it? So, yes, it's the same story. Yeah, this guy's kind of all over the place. Yeah, I agree with that. So I think he thinks he's being really smart and intelligent, but a lot of his word salad is, I feel like I'm listening to Jordan Peterson. Like I really do. I hate to bring JP up, but he sounds like him. Like there's a lot of word salad going on here, and I don't think he knows exactly how the words go together. He's just kind of making them off to say he's a smarter Jordan Peterson, sadly. Yes. All right, let's move on. We're never going to get this done at this rate.
Success is a trait that stays with people through the advancement of man. So any trait that stays with you is evolutionarily positive and successful.
No. Any trait that stays with you, you can have traits that become non-useful. They just stick with you because your body has no reason to change them. Like the population group just has no reason to change those traits because of evolutionary environmental pressure. It doesn't mean you just keep them because they're beneficial. That's a very poor understanding of how evolution works. So, yeah, he doesn't understand it. He just doesn't understand it. Oh, Jesus is a Nephilim or Jesus is an ant. Yeah, I don't know. But yes. Yeah, like, yeah, I get it. I get it. I don't see, he doesn't seem to understand that like evolutionary traits can develop for a reason, and then that reason can cease to exist, but the trait's still going to stay there because there's no pressure on it to change. Like, why bother to change it? Like, I mean, human beings have a lot of those evolutionary traits where we just have them. They're of no, at one time, they may have been a benefit to us and developed because it was a benefit for survival, but now we just don't need them anymore and they just sit there. Like, so yeah, like most mutations are neutral. Okay. Some are positive, some are negative. And sometimes whether they're positive or negative depends on changes in the environment. So yeah, yeah, it literally is. Trait that didn't get your parents killed before they reproduce. That's the trait that gets passed on. That's literally it. Yeah, 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 yeah. You just can't get rid of those traits. Like, so there you go. Like, yes, this was just a poor understanding of evolution in the question. So,
trait. Religion is one of them. So, do you want to cancel your memory? Do you want to cancel perception? Do you want to cancel foraging?
religion might be an incidental trait that's, I don't know, may have been positive in the past, but now it's neutral. It became neutral. Now I think it's negative. So the more we learn, the more we understand, the more we evolve. Um, I would debate that's, yeah, they're just there. It doesn't mean that they're positive. So
For food. All these are evolutionary traits which have stayed with man, including religion. So evolution actually promotes religion because it stayed and helped man to survive to the point at which we are today. The next question is, why do you sleep? Scientists just can't figure it out. Religion has its answers to it, including some form, depending where,
why do I what? Why do I sleep? I am fairly certain that if there's one thing that's been scientifically studied is why human beings sleep. Like, I think he's going to make that claim, Felicia, that the Bible says something about sleep, and I got to press the button to hear what it is.
God takes souls away and returns them when you wake up. So religion has its understanding of sleep, but
What did he just say? Okay, shit. I got to go back.
at which we are today. The next question is, why do you sleep? Scientists just can't figure it out. Religion has its answers to it, including some form, depending where, God takes souls away and returns them when you wake up. So religion
God takes souls away and then returns them when you wake up. That's hi Ryan. Oh my gosh, talk about a claim without any sort of evidence whatsoever. I don't even know where that fits in theology. I don't know any theologian, mainstream theology, that says this shit. Like, sleep is literally death. You're with me, huh, Felicia? What, God takes souls away and returns when you wait? What? Yes, I get you. Oh my god. Yeah, it's kind of creepy. It's a Kool-Aid idea. Yeah, it's a cool idea. Don't honestly, if I was writing a fantasy novel series and that's actually what happens during sleep when the characters sleep, is that the various gods take them people while they're sleeping and do some shit to them while they're sleeping through dreams and then send them back. What a great, cool idea for a fantasy novel. Holy shit. But Party Wolf is good to see it. Yes, Sleepers is dope. Yes, the implications are amazing, aren't they, Lisa? Oh. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did this video. It's given me a laugh all the way through. Yeah, Freaky Friday, absolutely. yeah, like Freaky Friday makes sense, BS, because then, they go to God and oops, I put the wrong soul in the wrong person. Like, that's the other implication. Like you could have, like in a fantasy novel, can you imagine? Okay, I take, I take the dwarf soul and and the dwarf god and the elf god decide to exchange the souls for one day, just for shits and giggles. And so the dwarf wakes up in the elf body and the elf wakes up in the dwarf's body. That would be fucking hilarious. Yes, the sleeper has awoken. That's a whole new meaning in Dune as well. Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
Has its understanding of sleep, but why do you sleep? That's a deep question. Scientists fail to understand.
Scientists have probably answered that question. Like, the biggest thing I need sleep for is if I don't sleep, my life gets really, really fucked up. Like, I've done sleep deprivation on myself, and it's not a good experience after a while. Like, at first, it's kind of like being on alcohol. You find everything funny. Um, but after a while, if you do this crap, your mind gets messed up. It's almost like our bodies and our brains need a rest, and we can't just keep going, which is a great argument against the design of the human body, because why does God design us then when we need sleep? It's like, it's really weird. So, oh my God. Yeah, we need sleep because we need to. Like, come on. If we don't, things break horribly. Yeah. So,
And
okay,
there's no
moving
reason for
along.
it. You waste your time. You spend so much of your life in it, and what's the reason for it? Question number 11 is, why do you yawn? That's another one.
Why do I yawn? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Because we get tired, lots of high phosphorus thoughts, getting rid of chemical buildup, etc., etc. We yawn to make other people yawn. I yawn because this guy bores me. Yeah, I know, but he's funny. Oh my God, is this hilarious? Oh. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm doing this blind. I did not know these were the questions. Oh my gosh. Oh, all right, here we go.
Question number 12 is it's an evolutionary. It's an evolutionary question again. It's bilateralism. Human beings, you are bilateral. You have two. You move with two sides. Question is, if you are developing two sides, how come both sides are harmonious, congruous, the same? Why?
Oh shit. Maybe because we have a central brain to coordinate them both. I, yeah, tell it to a stroke victim. I think he might be one. But it doesn't always work harmoniously, is the point. And it actually is asymmetrical. Like, asymmetry is like, our brains try to make everything symmetrical, but most of the time it's just not. Yeah, McKinley, is this one of those I ate some gummies and have questions sort of things? I don't think so, Ryan. I don't think so. Oh, he doesn't know anything. No. Yeah, I'm getting that point. We're at least at question 12. We only have 3 more to go. The fact that he followed up, why do we sleep, with why do we yawn, is just. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, Felicia. Oh, I try to find intelligent things that theists say, but I usually find this shit instead. Yeah, he definitely looks serious. Oh my gosh.
Don't I have a blue eye here? Can anybody who's talking strictly based on evolutionary principles explain why I don't have a square eye here? You can't develop two sides.
Evolution has a lot of answers to eye development in it. And I hate to break the news. I have a grandson who has a brown eye and a blue eye. I did not know that was a genetic trait in my family, but it is. Like there are people in the past that have different color eyes. So there's not everything isn't always symmetrical and it doesn't always work together. So let's see. Square bro, what is this? Which one's correct? Yeah, no doubt, man. Like I really wish I had magical answers like this as an atheist. I have to go do research and work and find out who's researched shit. You know, I can't just come up with magical stuff. So like how dare I not tackle higher? Apologize. I'm afraid neither one of these guys. Okay, this guy is right at that level, Stormbird. I'm sorry. Like somebody's, I made a remark. This guy sounds like Jordan Peterson. Is that? And Felicia made the other. Yeah, unfortunately, he's a smarter version of Jordan Peterson. I got to take on Matt Powell. Honestly, I purposely avoided reacting to Matt Powell. I just don't consider him that good at anything. And so it's like I would literally feel like I was beating up a child, I think. And I don't want to feel that way. Oh my goodness. Go on, dude.
To harmonize. The bilateralism is something people just don't understand. So except you have an intelligent designer making it happen, how come you have
So we have an intelligent designer that puts the entertainment system next to the sewer system. We have an intelligent designer that makes the birth canal way too narrow to give birth. We have, which causes great pain for women who give birth. We have an intelligent designer that gives us parts that no longer actually do shit. Okay, or if they don't really do much good, and if they go horribly wrong, they can kill us, like appendicitis. Like if I'm dealing with an intelligent designer, he's not that intelligent. Like so there you go. Yeah. Yes, two arms are better than one. We kind of evolved this way. We figured this out. Yes, back problems. Like Jesus, intelligent design. Get me out of there.
two identical sides? It doesn't make sense. I would like atheists and humanists and anti-godists to explain.
Another point would be like, why didn't we have an intelligent design where I can see fucking behind me? Like that seems like that would be an intelligent design, to actually put a couple of eyes on the back of my head so I can see behind my ass, so nobody can get me. Like, but yes, like come on, man, intelligent design. Anti-foot headers, hip problem. What identical? Like I don't think he realizes that actually the two sides of the human body are never identical. Like nothing is actually completely identical on both sides. Like even if it looks that way, it just isn't. So yeah, I mean, why don't I have a neck that can turn my head all the way around so I can look in different directions? That would be good design. Like, yes. So here we go.
In that. Question number 13 is, why does a cock hatched in seclusion crow when a hawk passes by? This is the innate knowledge of organisms. It goes along with migration patterns, innate abilities. How does that
DNA passed on traits? He's staring at him, bro. Are you serious? Yeah, why is the heart on one side and not the other? Why isn't it actually in the middle? Like we have a lot of traits. Like the lungs, the two lungs aren't identical at all. Like they're different. So, they occupy the same space, but they're not identical. I mean, if you look at any part of your body and try to make it perfect symmetry, it's not. Okay, and this guy, like he's talking about innate traits, but like somebody hatches, in seclusion, and then they see a hawk go overhead and they still cry about it. Like that might be an evolutionary trait. that keeps you alive. Come on, man. Evolution doesn't just postulate physical traits; it also, other traits that lead to survival too. So I don't know. Yeah, we all have initial traits. Big, dark, scary thing evil tends to bring something out in every individual. Yes, like it's fear of the unknown. Like it doesn't necessarily need to know it's a hawk for the chicken to realize maybe I should go find some cover. It doesn't need to have that. So, yes, Fear of the Dark. Great song, by the way. Yes, why do I have only one heart and two kidneys, and who fine-tuned the pancreas? Yep. Yep. Yeah. Shout out to the mammalian diving reflex. Yes, we all have that though, Felicia. Like we always have this fear of something that's going to blindside us, and it's better to assume it's danger than not. An evolutionary survival trait would be to assume that the tiger is actually in the grass rather than the wind is blowing it. Like it. I think we would develop some of these fears very naturally as just survival traits, and parents would pass those on. It's like, come on. So there you go. Yeah, this is one of those cases where that skepticism, that fear of the dark, that fear might be interconnected. Like we're skeptical of things because we don't want to be caught by a trap. So there you go.
Hawk, know that hawk, it has to warn others that that's danger there. How do you have that? Is that
How's it warning others if it's done in seclusion? Like that's not in seclusion then. Your test doesn't follow.
Coded in your genes? Can that be coded in your genes?
Yes, it can.
Okay. Question number 14. We have 15 questions here. The second.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I was wondering if somebody was going to say something on that. No kidneys are actually identical, Jackie. Like I learned that when my son had kidney problems when he was 4. Is like both kidneys aren't exactly completely identical. Like lungs aren't exactly identical. Nothing in the human body is completely identical. Okay, our brains try to do that to us because we're pattern seekers and we try to make the pattern fit. But yes, I know he's talking about a rooster, but it's still funny. It's like the old George Carlin joke when he was in Sunday school and they read that, the cock crowed at midnight kind of thing. Finally crowed the third time and they would giggle. It was like, there were cocks in the Bible. So there you go. Hey, Reverb, how are you doing? How's Reverb twang these days? Oh my gosh. Yeah, some people's kidneys. Hey, good to see you, Ron. Some people's kidneys get stoned too. Oh my goodness. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Reverb. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness. But yeah, okay. But yes.
Come to the last question I have here is,
I thought we were at 13.
There's absolutely no fact and no time-bound guarantee in science, can a position devoid of fact surpass other positions? And this is, in science, there's no fact. There's absolutely.
Thank you, Felicia. Honestly, I just wanted a fun stream tonight. It's been a rough week for me, but and I figured, Ed, let's just test yourself. How long have you been doing this, and can you answer any questions that they say atheists can't answer? And so far, of all of these, I can definitely answer all of these. Talk about a statement that doesn't understand how science works or what facts even are. Like, just out of the blue, science can't prove facts. You're expressing my feelings perfectly, Felicia. Oh, yeah. Sorry for those words. Like, I don't know if this guy even thinks he. So if there's no facts in science, why does shit work? Like, like I have an obvious question. If there's no facts in science, why does science work? Like, why does it has testable, repeatable results? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't understand this guy. At this point, I'm kind of lost at. You have a special difference for each kidney. I am so sorry to hear that, Jackie. Oh, yeah, you barely managed to ask questions. I think and this is kind of my comment on all these kind of videos where questions atheists can't answer. I think Mr. Z, aka the artist formerly known as Prophet of Zod, made a video recently why these kind of things are stupid, and he says I think as I recall, one of the problems with these questions that atheists can't answer is we keep answering them. Like, you guys keep proposing questions that we can't answer, but then we answer them. But the other part of it is like they're using this as a gotcha tactic. Like, they think that these questions are silver bullets that take down atheism, and they're not. And so it's more about technique than it is honest interlocutor with the atheist. And so, yeah, like, it's like, dude, this guy, oh, maybe word 8, maybe, I don't know. Who cares about truth and facts? Show me results, show me implementation, show me demonstration, show me what actualizes your facts be damned. I'm a biological body in an empirical world. Yes. Oh, we should have an answer sign in order to unconvince of theistic propositions. Oh, yeah, it was kind of like why science kind of works, though. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I kind of agree that these are kind of stupid for those two reasons. Like, they're doing a gotcha thing, and they're also, we keep answering them, and they just keep making the videos we can't answer them. And I hear the same question in all of these videos. You can do one of these videos, answer all the questions. A year later, same content creator will produce the exact same video of questions that atheists can't answer, and it's the same bloody questions. Like, it's like, I already answered these. Is this just a regular yearly test that you have to put in front of me to make sure that I can answer them? What the hell? But yes. Oh, I don't know what else he's going to say. There's like literally how many minutes left?
Fact in science. So how do you come to the table for a conversation or a discussion when you're not bringing any fact? Can you use a position where there is no fact? You have theories, you have principles, and lots of times these principles.
And a theory is a body of evidence that leads us to a certain conclusion. So you don't understand that word in science. So thanks for that.
Principles or theories get thrown out. Now, how do you come to the table for a conversation without a single fact and use that to oppose something else? Now, you might not be able to prove that something.
So I have a question for you then. How do you come to the table without a single fact, but only have assertions about your God? Like, I think I could flip that. Like, what facts do you actually present? Like, if you're going to be critical of me not having any facts, which I don't think that's true. Let's say I grant that for the sake of argument. What facts do you then bring to the table? Doesn't that criticism kind of flow back on your own head? Yeah, like, what the hell? So, yeah, I beat you to it. I'm sorry, Fred. Right. But yeah, like, what do you bring to the table to this discussion of facts? Like, you have a lot of assertions with no evidence. So why are you going down this road?
Else is better than what you are coming to the table with, but you are coming to the table devoid of fact.
Not true, but you aren't coming to the table with facts, even if I were to grant that either. So you have a lot of assertions here, but no evidence.
Okay. And the final question is...
I thought we already did the 15th question. Wasn't that... Did he mess up the count? God damn it. I hate it when people mess up the count in their videos. All right, so we still have one more. Okay, let's hang on to our hats.
Can you defend or explain or justify the placebo effect? And when you're telling people to abandon religion? it's well known that the placebo effect is, you take a placebo and you do get healing. How do you explain that? Science.
Well, the placebo effect is somehow true for religion. Okay, you do realize that the placebo effect also indicates we know it's a placebo because it's not actually designed to do anything. We're just using a psychological idea. It doesn't mean it's true. Like if I use a placebo medicine, I'm acknowledging in the scientific study that it's a placebo. Like it's not designed to actually bring any healing. And so if you're going to equate religion with a placebo, okay, granted, because you're basically just saying it's a psychological trick and it doesn't actually do anything. Oh, dude. The comedy value. The comedy value. Yeah, it may be real or not real. Like, you demand an answer for this? Can I justify the placebo? Dude, how do you explain the placebo effect with God? Yes. Like, oh my God.
Cannot explain that. And you have great amount of
Actually, also the placebo effect is actually very well documented and very very well scientifically studied. So saying that we don't have an answer for that's just not true. That's naturalistic is just not true. But if you're going to say religion is a placebo and that's why it's valuable, yeah, no. I'd rather have the real medicine, like deal in real life, because the placebo versus a real thing, that's kind of the point of having a placebo to see if it actually does some actual healing as compared to the placebo, which actually doesn't. Yeah, I just. Oh my gosh. Yeah, zero's just a better placeholder, yes. Okay, just come to the table beaming on, don't know all things, and maybe you can learn more. And maybe sometimes that's really boring, so maybe I just come to the table, yes. God's a placebo. It's the brain. People thought it expected a certain end. Sometimes it just happens. Yes, human psychology. Yeah, like he's making a lot of assertions and he's never bothered to prove them, Elizabeth, through this entire video. Like it's been sad, really, it has.
healing and placebo effect. And this comes with spirituality and all the spiritual solutions where these things transcend scientific explanation. You just swallow.
Your assertion that they transcend scientific explanation is just that, an assertion. You haven't proven that. You haven't brought any facts to the table to make that true either. So
Talk and you got healed of a condition. How come? Something out of the ordinary sense material existence. So as simple as it is, the placebo, how do you explain that? So these are questions I'd like you to.
I think the atheists have probably answered that question. I'm sure there's many medical doctors that could answer why the placebo effect works. There's people that have studied it, and I bet you they'll give an explanation that doesn't have a God in it.
Pose to your atheist friends or prophets of anti-God prophets and bring the answers.
Oh, I wish Earl was here. I don't know. I don't know what he is. Like, I've listened to this guy the entire time, and I can't figure out his religion. I think he's making shit up. It's like, I know. I got, I couldn't get past it either. I really hate it when people make us into a religion. Like I play with fangs, but I try to give fangs more strength by not actually believing in fangs. So like he's an atheist deity and draws strength from non-belief in him. So I don't believe in fangs as much as a better religious devotion to fangs. And I don't see myself as an anti-God prophet. Okay, like I hate it when they take their religious language and they apply it to me because they assume atheism is a religion or a worldview, and they just don't bother to think about whether that's even possible. So, yeah, yeah. Oh. goodness. Yeah, Anti-God Prophets would be a great band name. Holy shit. I might keep that one for a band name. So, and he's just making shit up. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, Fred, you're losing it. You're getting old. Shit, you're slow. Oh, is he a doctor? Oh yeah, because his channel is Doctor Whatever Ever. So I think he has some sort of PhD as well. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what's it in or where it's from. I mean, he might have got the doctorate from the same place that Hawaiian Shirt Guy did his. So maybe it's that level of legit. So Anti-God Prophets with Making Shit Up is the first album. There you go. Sky and a guy anything left. Okay. Hopefully we get to
Let's
this.
have a conversation about it. Thanks. Cheers. It's Dr. Peregrine O'Brien.
Okay, Dr. Peregrine
So-
O'Brien. Okay, so that's the end of the video. What do you think, folks? My counter of questions that I could not answer, like I can't answer them, was 0. Now, some of my answers were, I don't know, really, that's not my field. Coupled with, but it doesn't really matter whether I know the answer to that question. So, so there you go. Oh my goodness. You love the Devo effect? There you go. Sorry, Fred. I know it's not a revelation, but yeah, your typing's starting to be affected. Okay, he's an Islamic apologist. Okay, that makes a hell of a lot more sense then. Like Islamic apologists tend to get more philosophical with their apologetics like that. The problem is they ask dumb questions like, why do we yawn? Because they have this spiritual idea of, like spirit is in all breath and wind and things like this. There's a lot of theological beliefs about the natural world that play into this that don't normally play into with Christians. So yeah, there you go. First of my existence is kind of grumpy old man. I think I'll do okay. Okay. If I had drunk nothing but hard liquor in the past hour, I would rain. I am so sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is horrible. It was just bad. It's bad all the way around. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do with this. Yeah, he's probably a fundamentalist. If he's an Islamic apologist and talking this way, I'd bank he's a fundamentalist to Islamic apologist. So, and if he's a doctor, he's gotten it from some institution of higher learning that's different than what I'm used to. So, see, I was able to answer all 15 questions. The questions are mostly stupid, though. Okay, right, fair enough. So yes, I won't blame myself. I'm not blaming myself. Like, see, I've been doing this a while, Elizabeth, and I thought, I'm tired. I've had a rough week. I want some laughs. So what do I do to do that? And I let's look up some 15 questions that atheists can't answer video, throw it up here, and let's do it blind or mostly blind. I listened to the first 2 questions. After that, I didn't know what was coming. And that's why I was kind of surprised and laughed a lot on this one too. It was definitely very, very funny. He's been involved in a legal battle with a Nigerian for the past 7 years. Okay. It's not a good one. Oh, and he's an anti-vaxxer as well. Outstanding. Ka-ching, trifecta. But so my whole thing tonight was, okay, I've been doing this a while. Can I do this essentially without knowing what the questions are going to be? Like, can I do this? And sure enough, all these questions I've done many, many times before. And so I've become literally trained. I've trained myself so that I can handle any of these questions. And so I'm guess I'm in some ways proud of myself. In other ways, I'm very embarrassed that this is so easy. Um, One of my problems with counter apologetics is that I think because we deal with so much softball stuff like this, like it's really easy to debunk, that there could be some good counter apologetics that would just take out the whole thing if we just really thought about it and went at it. And but we never get past this because we get these people that ask these silly questions that we have answers to and don't seem to really want to answer any deeper questions, because then we have a problem. So, oh yeah. I'll take the blessings of Fangs. I prefer the god of chaos to this guy. Holy shit. Yes, trifecta of Horpulus. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. If you want to bullshit people, you have to find groups that have already mainlined your bullshit. Yeah, it's easier to sell drugs to an addict, that's for sure. So there you go. For my question, so and so can answer forces the acceptance of the question. Any politician will tell you do not blindly accept the premises of any question. Yes, my political science degree agrees with you. Like, if you're going to do good politicking, never accept the premise of the question until you've established that the premise of the question is good. So when the media is directing questions at you, you can always challenge the premise behind the question. That's perfectly legit. And the problem with a lot of apologetics is they use a lot of that same kind of technique where they make you accept the premise of the question without bothering to even get there. So, oh my goodness. Oh man. Battling apologetics with facts is difficult. On one side, it has no guardrails and an audience that will never be convinced by facts, while our side is trained by reality and fans demand reality. Yes, I get it. Oh my gosh. Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness, Earl. You missed the whole thing. But I'm going to actually, seeing you're here, seeing the wonderful, lovely, beautiful, smart, intelligent lap in which our Lord naps, the lovely I Killed Earl, one of the smartest women I know, has decided to wake up and join us. You would have had a lot of fun tonight, Earl. Go back and watch it. You'll get a few laughs. Uh, but seeing she's here, like, I did the thumbnail today, and I'm like, the problem with the thumbnails, I really like that part of the thumbnail where Fangs is kind of looking judgmentally at the audience while the anglerfish comes up. But it's part of a larger thing, and I took the bottom half of it, and I always want to show the whole thing with Earl. This is, I think, is the final form, cleaned up version that I've been given of this picture. And I love using this bottom part as a thumbnail because it's so good. So, but here's the rest of it. Here's the rest of it. This is the fuller picture. So, so there you go. There you go. There you go. But I love this picture. I have always loved this picture. This is one of the best ones Earl's ever done. And she's cleaned it up so well and made it so much nicer. And I just love the bottom part where Fangs is in his diving gear and the anglerfish is there. And honestly, it's just a beautiful piece. And yes, land rights for gay whales. Yes, yes. And you also, Cranky's in this one too, doing what cranky elder gods do, pursuing mermaids. So, and I'm not going to judge. So, some mermaids like tentacles. I'll just put it that way. Yes, just so you know, Earl, one of the actual 15 questions is why do we yawn? I'm not kidding. So there we go. Yeah, it's a very cool picture. I love this one, and this, I think, is the latest version because there are several, but I love this one. But yeah. But I love using the bottom part for a thumbnail because it's got so much stuff in it. Oh, beautiful stuff. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how she does it either, Elizabeth. She's amazing. Okay, he's a legit medical doctor out of the University of Iran in Nigeria, and he's also an up-and-coming Islamic scholar, according to interviews he's given for the last 2 years. Yes. Cranky is pilfering a sea wench. Okay, there you go. And let's be honest, some of those sea wenches like tentacles. Let's be fair. She may not mind. She may not mind. He's practicing out of New York City nowadays. What? Oh boy. I want the harsh Sharia law, US-based medical practice. Oh, God damn it. Well, so I'm even glad that we went through this and laughed profusely at him. Yes, Earl may or may not allegedly like tentacles. So he's apparently here avoiding the Nigerian, wants him imprisoned. I wonder why. Yeah, he's kind of indoctrinated to the point he can't tell up from down, but he's a legit medical doctor practicing medicine, and he's an anti-vaxxer at the same time. Outstanding. God. Yeah, he'd be a theocrat then. Like he wants God to impose his rules, because apparently atheism can't answer 15 questions, and one of them being, why do we yawn? Why do we sleep? Those are two of the questions. Jesus. So, well, it kind of explains some of the nature of the questions, like he was going into virgin births being medically normal and et cetera and stuff like that. So, and I never heard of her allegedly. Okay. Oh, a legit medical doctor practicing and wants harsh Sharia law, asks dumb theist question, and about just so special. See, and you wonder why. Okay, see, as much as I am absolutely, Felicia, with you about moving on and trying to have better conversations, the problem is some of these people I'm trying to have conversations with are the people like this guy. Like it, and he's having an influence on at least part of society as a doctor, as somebody who's doing stuff. Like, I don't know what to do with that, other than there are times when I see really dangerous shit like this and this kind of person, and go, okay, this is why religion is a problem, and I got to be a little bit more aggressive in calling it out. So I've been questioning, like, slightly altering the course of the channel. I'm never going to get away from atheism and deconversion, but it was like, I want to have good conversations, even with theists, much like yourself. But then somebody like this comes up, and I didn't know all of that before I reacted to his questions. Okay. But, now I begin to understand why we have to do this. Like, you have to demonstrate how silly some of these questions are, because some of these people are in actual influential areas of society. So you have to kind of say, oh shit, I do need to say something about that. So there you go. Nigeria has had the most religious scams of all the country, doesn't it? I don't know. The United States might be, I don't even want to. Well, if he's a Muslim, what is the Islamic take on condoms and birth control? Are they against it? So, like, gotta look it up. I don't really know Islam that well, as much as I would like. Let's see, position on contraception. Let's see. Contraception is generally permissible in Islam if it is temporary, does not cause harm, and used for valid reason, while permanent methods to prevent fertility are typically discouraged. Okay, so he might not be against condoms. So, oh, is he? He's very okay. He personally is against birth control, anti-condoms, okay, and anti-abortion. All right, like it doesn't say Muslims may not take that position, so he may not be representative of all Muslims, but he is. If he is those positions, then yes, okay. Additional problems. They seem to have a suspiciously high concentration of prisoners in need of retirement benefits. Oh, oh my gosh. I don't think Islam, like women knowing what protection is. Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Like Sharia law is definitely oppression, but it's like, so if he's personally, though, anti contraception, like Islamic people don't necessarily take the anti contraception position. So, but he apparently does. So great. I'm now genuinely glad we did this because now there's another video out there making fun of this guy's questions for atheists. And people can watch it and go, yeah, this guy's kind of an asshole. All right. Yeah, Islam doesn't like women, period. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're just breeding stock. Don't you know that? A lot of these Abrahamic religions have their hardcore beliefs. Yeah, he is so hardcore Islam, he posts apologetics on Boko Haram. Okay. Oh, deep breath. Deep breath, Ed. Deep breath. I studied the Islam lately, learned a lot, not. Yeah, I bet Nigeria is full of princesses. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so glad we did this now. I know you're not, but that's what he thinks. You're not a broodmare. I get it. But my largest problem with Islam when it comes to social issues, the biggest one is the rights of women. Like they don't have any. They really just don't, if they're being honest. So you tried to make a joke, yes. It worked, sort of. Women crying, rape. A cop brings acid and spills on innocent people. Yes. Like you can't even report it. So yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's just it's I've always had this problem with Islam. Just the way they do business. Like it's more than just a religious system. There's definitely some political systemology to it. And so, in fact, I would say of the three Abrahamic religions, the political side of it is much stronger than Islam than the other two, although the others too. So I never said I wasn't a feminist. Like it's why I did the stream with you. Okay. Like I'm trying to learn. Okay. I'm trying to learn. Now don't get me wrong. I think some things are unfair towards men at times. So, and that's part of, but I would argue that that's part of patriarchal culture too, that patriarchy doesn't do men a lot of favors either. So, it does them some favors, but there's a cost factor to men to have those advantages. I know. I won't say that. Can I tell people that you're actually a good person, Earl? Can I do that? I don't want to ruin the Goblin Queen mystique. Like, I don't want to do that to you because it's very helpful. Like, it scares people away that I don't want here anyway. Oh, my goodness. Oh, this guy. Now that I know who this guy, if I were, oh, okay, I need to be a scoundrel, or we, that's why we're not dating because I'm not a scoundrel. Okay, there we go. Oh. See, if the world is 5% against men, the other, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem, alleged Fred. It's like, I get there's some things against men, but I'm still thinking that the odds are in the ladies' favor in not a favorable way. So, but yes. I'm not going to do it. I didn't say it. I just asked you, should I say it? Oh my gosh. Oh, thanks. All right. Thanks. Revert Twang. All right. I still didn't get any, you got to have at least a certain level of donation. I'm still only at 2. And I'm 2 hours and I'm getting tired and hungry. So, yeah, I think that's true. Yep. I honestly, like, I don't know too many women that I've ever talked to that said they wouldn't date like Han Solo. I mean, Harrison Ford did a really good job portraying Han Solo to the point it's an iconic character. So, yeah, no hats today. I don't think we're going to get there. Who's winning anyway? The Holy Bunny hat. I did the Holy Bunny hat yesterday. So we did a lot of dogma, including body stealing gnomes and Fangs putting the body stealing gnomes up to stealing Jesus's body every year. So it frustrates Yahweh. It's trying to piss Yahweh off. Yeah. Ghost hates women, yes. But yeah, like I don't know. It's a good question, but yes. But yes, I don't know. And this guy. Okay, so I'm actually now glad that we did this. I was beginning to regret my life choices by reacting to this video, but now that I know who the guy is, I'm kind of glad we did it again. Put him back in. Yes, this guy is dumb. Okay. Yeah, see, okay, hold on. She said it, so now I've got to pull up the image. All right, I think that's in my special Apologia folder, I believe. So, but yeah, here's one of the other versions of the Unholy Trinity. So there you go. So, yeah, but Ed is Han Solo. I take that role very well. I can be in the whole Apologia Habermas debacle. I was happy to let Apologia take the role of Luke, and I will gladly take the role of Han Solo. So, yeah, well, yeah, but now that I know who this guy is, kind of exposing his silly arguments against atheism is definitely one of those things. So, but yes, he might be getting there. I don't know. Can't ever know about these old people. But yes, Earl turned me into Han Solo. So there we go. But yes. Oh my goodness. But yep, there we go. All right, folks. I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And the amount of stupid I just had to deal with has kind of fried my brain. And I'm going to need about an hour to recover. So, oh yeah. Harris on Ford. Okay, there you go. Oh yeah, you would have been. Yeah, he was doing Indiana Jones the year you were born. Yep, but there you go. But I'm going to call it a night. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I want to give us some special shout outs here. We got allegedly Fred and Reverb Twang a couple of times, and Felicia. Thank you very much for your support. Appreciate all of it. But yeah, try the story of your life. Yeah, it was a fun little stream. But also, I think the stupidity has drained me. But thanks everybody. May Fangs nibble on all of your hearts. May he purify all of your vegetables as you come into gardening season here up in North America from religious corruption with his pointy teeth. If you really need some warm fuzzies from a religion, just look into the big eyes of the godlit fangs, and you'll get all the warm fuzzies you ever need, all the good feelings they ever need from any religion. It works every time. Based on last week, you can still leave a circumcised carrot out on top of whatever stash or anything you hold valuable. But the debate continues, and I'm looking for people to excuse me, figure out what to dip the carrot in before you circumcise the carrot, what to pickle it in. What is the proper type of carrot? What is the best carrot for the circumcision ritual? These are all questions that now remain unanswered. But I think the general thing will still work. It's a religious ritual. It has the same effects as all other religious rituals. So there you go. And make sure that you watch out for the fact that Fangs now has legal resources to steal your stash. Yes, he is cute. He is very cute. I love baby Fangs. He's very, very cute. But thanks, everybody. Appreciate all of you being here. Great time tonight. See, I'll see you all Monday, probably. Yes, Monday. Though I am working on a video for this weekend, so you might want to keep out a lookout for that. Depends on how fast it goes. I'm having to do a lot of research with this one, so we'll get to that one, but I'm definitely working on it. So you got that. I think that's it. So live your best life, folks. Have fun this weekend. Be careful. But live your best life. You only get one go around with it. It's over. So you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and use them for yourself, the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. And don't waste them on the trappings of religion and faith, because that's a dead end. I speak from experience. As always, folks, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you all next time on Monday on a fireside chat. I'll see you then. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end to find out how you can support the channel better. Of course, there's always the normal notions of just hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, and share the video with your friends and family that you think would be interested. That's always very appreciated. If you want to support the channel in a more tangible way, there's several options. You can super chat or super thanks in the comments or during a stream. Those are always very welcome. But you also can become a member of the channel. Members have certain perks like getting the videos early, things like that. They also have some good custom emojis during chat. So all of these things are good benefits to members, but they also support this channel and its work to continue to normalize atheism and deconversion, for which I'm very appreciative. It keeps me going, and it keeps me as a content creator being able to do more and more as a content creator. So if you choose those methods of support, thank you very much. And I appreciate you once again for staying to the end and listening to other ways that you can support the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll catch you next time.